last
And
time.
here we are back again, and I learned about this organization. It was serendipitous, I guess. I got a call from them, and they said, hey, do you know who we are? And I said, no, I don't know who you are, but let's talk. And I am absolutely amazed at what you lovely ladies do. 100 women who care. Are there really 100 of them?
We have 138 right
Will you take a few more?
Oh, we take as many as we can get.
So you have changed the name.
No, we just keep it under with it. But the more women, the more money.
And there's 100 has to do with two things, people and
Right.
also money, right?
Money,
So
exactly.
tell me what you do.
Well, I'll tell you a little bit of the background.
Jeri Bosman, she's the founder, yeah.
I heard about this from a friend in South Carolina. There are about 550 100 Who Care chapters in the country and around the world.
Never heard of them.
And there's 100 men who care, 100 kids who care, whatever. But they're, and a friend of mine in South Carolina was a member. She told me all about it. I thought, this is like incredible.
It's incredible.
I've got to bring it back to Albany. It's so easy. So I came back, told a couple friends, Peg Donovan and Sandra Allinger on my book club, and we said, let's make this happen. So what it is, and I also will say that this was started back in 2006 from a woman named Karen Dunnigan in Michigan, who was an executive and
So it's only 11 years old.
Exactly. And she was an executive and was at a board meeting for a health center facility, and they were looking for $10,000 for cribs for mothers that didn't have the funds to bring their babies home and put them in a crib. She said, I know 10 women that give $1,000, but she said, I bet I could get 100 women.
That'd be 10,000.
And that's how it started. So it's amazing. So we meet. You become a member if you're interested, and we're hoping that we'll generate a lot of new members. But you become a member, and you come to our meeting, and you commit to signing. You sign a commitment form saying you are willing to pay $100 per meeting.
When there's only 4 meetings.
4 meetings a year, and the meeting lasts 1 hour. That's what everybody loves about it. You're in and out, and you've made an amazing contribution to your community. So
how do you decide who to give this money to?
Well, what happens is, if you're a member, you are then eligible to nominate your favorite charity.
I think Ellen was part of that.
And that's why
Yes.
we have Eileen here.
Eileen, I'm sorry.
She is a recipient of one of our collective giving donations. So we vet it, because you have to be a 501c3. You can't be of any religious affiliation, or you can't support or
promote a religion.
Promote a religion, and the same for any political. But other than that, we vet the charities. The women send us what charity they want to nominate 3 nights before the meeting. We vet them and make sure they're okay. They come to the meeting, they put their name of their charity and themselves in a little basket. And so at that meeting, we pull 3 charities. So you could have your charity in the basket and may not get pulled right away. And those 3 women get up and speak for 5 minutes. We time everything so that you're out in an hour. And they speak about their charity and why they feel it's worthy. And then they have Q&A for 5 minutes. And then after all 3 have spoken, the members vote. And then whoever has the most votes is the recipient of the giving. In 40 minutes, we raise $13,000 some odd dollars, depending on how many members we have. If you are not at the meeting that night, you still are eligible to make your commitment.
That's an amazing thing.
$100. So.
And Eileen, you have Eileen Howe, is that correct?
Yes.
You have an organization. What organization did you represent?
So I am with 2 Life. I'm the executive director for 2 Life. 2 Life is based in Delmar. Our mission is to provide services for families that are dealing with a breast cancer diagnosis.
Okay.
And so we've been doing this exact same mission for almost 20 years now. We were started in 1998 by a person who had survived breast cancer and in fact survived a reoccurrence of breast cancer. So we've had doors open, and we've provided educational programming, support, not losing my train of thought, support services and boutique services for people that have dealt with hair loss and are dealing with mastectomy related issues. And our support groups and mentoring programs are ongoing throughout the year. And so it was our desire to be more impactful, particularly in the Schenectady market. And that is one of the things that drove us to to submit an application. Actually, one of my friends submitted an application on behalf of 2 Life. As Jeri talked about, there's this moment, and it's an amazing dynamic. You've got 100+ people in a room, and you know that there's a basket of charities. So there are random people that pull the charities out. There's no
It's just luck.
rhyme or reason. There's an element of luck to it.
Yeah.
But those charities are picked, and then they get their 5 minutes to get up and speak. So it's a very democratic process at that point. But there's an energy in the room. And that's really what I want to credit Jeri and the co-founders of the organization, is that it's not like we're operating in a vacuum. There's a huge transparency. And then there's this education process where you know that half the people in the room have never heard of maybe 1, 2, or all 3 of these charities. And so, you kind of gain this familiarity with things that are going on in our community. And so I credit Jeri and the co-founders for having that foresight, and for these other organizations that have cropped around, and I believe that there's more kind of in the percolating stage here in the Capital Region. But that whole idea that you would have, this gathering, and you listen to the presentations, you ask a few questions, and then there's a democratic vote. But then what happens in the room is the people, you might have voted for a different charity, we all collectively write that check or pay that cash or whatever we do to the charity of choice, and it binds us together.
Yeah. It's
in
really
this very special way. Does that explain it?
It does.
Yeah, it's a wonderful
it's just this
idea.
really cool
The concept is wonderful.
Within an hour. And so we all are dealing with, how do you know more about your community? How do you feel like you're making an impact in an organization and in a community setting? And 100 Women Who Care really makes a big step in that direction. Now, for 2 Life to have been the recipient of funds, now I look at it from the other side, and $13,400 is actually what 2 Life has received. It's allowing us to start a support group. It's allowing us to provide educational programming in the form of wellness days. And so now we're able to more
Expand your
specifically
program. Yeah.
help in this community. And we're living in a very uncertain time in terms of healthcare. And so being able to provide and plug some gaps there is
So
a big deal.
if somebody wants to join a meeting, you have a meeting coming up.
We do.
And that's going to be on November the 9th.
November the 9th. The Delmar Reformed Church has been very generous in letting us use their fellowship hall. And you should come at 5 o'clock to sign in. And from 5 to 5:30 is check-in, and from 5:30 to 6:30, and I promise you're out at 6:30.
At 6:30.
And we don't, it's very simple. There's
You
no
can come right after
refreshments.
work, yeah.
Come after work, and that's what the women love about it. It's they're in and out, they're making a significant difference, they're gathering together with other women, and it's very powerful. And then after what also happens is the meeting starts with the recipient of the previous
Saying what they did,
funds.
yeah.
They come back and say what they do.
This
So.
is great. It's a great organization. If you'd like to get involved with it, I recommend that you either go to their webpage. They do have a webpage. It's called 100wwcalbany.org. Go to their webpage, find out more about it, or attend their meeting. And I think you're going to feel really good about what you're doing if you do that.
Can I just say one more thing?
Sure.
There's 2 more 100 Women Who Care chapters that are being developed in our area.
Great.
There's going to be 100 Women Who Care the foothills of the Adirondacks for Fulton, Montgomery, and Schoharie County, and there's 100 Women Who Care Northeast New York, and that's going to be for Saratoga coming in the
Wonderful.
future.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having
We're
us
going
on.
to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about spina bifida. If you don't know what it is, you'll find out. I got that right, yeah. Stay tuned.